Morning everyone. Sunday, I don't know what it is, 10th or 11th, something like that. But as you can see, I've dug out all my first early potatoes now. I started doing it yesterday with a patch over there with 2 squash and the 14 celery. And that was basically because the plants were going yellow and I wanted to find out what was going on with them. So I started digging them up and found wireworm was the issue. And all the ones that I dug up yesterday were really badly affected. I hardly got a crop off them, just like a tiny little bag full, maybe not even a pound. So I was a bit gutted really. So I've been doing a bit of research overnight online about wireworms and what have you. And I thought the worst thing I could probably do is just leave all these potatoes in there as a food source for them. And and have them spread throughout the bed, because it just seemed to be localised in that sort of area. So yeah, I dug them all out today, and I'm happier than what I was yesterday anyway. I've managed to get this amount of potatoes. I mean, that one I stabbed with a fork. That one's been eaten by mice or rats or something. That one's been eaten by mice or rats. So basically there was a wireworm over there eating all the potato roots and everything. And over this bit over here, there was a mouse or rat hole, and they'd been going through here eating the potatoes. So if I'd have left them in, they'd have just got hammered even more. So at least I've got a crop. I mean, it's not a bad haul there. Most of them are half decent size. But yeah, a bit gutted really. And looking on this side here, these are starting to look affected now as well. So I'm just wondering whether the grass mulch, what I've put down, was the perfect habitat for the click beetles to lay the larvae in. Because the the wireworms weren't big. They were just tiny little ones that like they just hatched out. So yeah, a bit gutted really. But yeah, I removed all this. I've had to dig it over. Removed all the grass. So I've had to dig it over to make sure I get all the potatoes out. And yeah, so a bit gutted. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate a lot of compost. I did on this bit yesterday, and put some celery in, although the mole had been through. So yeah, I mean the mole's eating the wireworms for me, which is a good thing, but it's also, digging up all the plants every bloody day and that. So I'm going to leave this for a little bit, open to the elements. Hopefully the birds will get in and peck away any wireworms that are in there. But what I am going to do, come back in a bit after I've had a cup of coffee at home, and I've got some potatoes here which are from yesterday. This is just part of the haul from yesterday really, and you can see we've had to chop load of bits out. But I'm going to use these as baked potatoes now, not baked, baked. So I'm going to stick these on a stick and bury them in and around the bed, and leave them for a week. And I'm just going to see what the infestation is like of wireworms on each one of these bits and how big the wireworms are. I don't think they're that old, but if they're not that old, that means they could be in the soil for like 5 or 6 years, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger each year. So I'm going to try to bait them out first with this. Apparently you can plant beans, and they don't like being in the soil after where beans have grown, and also mustard. And to be honest, I grew beans in this patch of ground here last year, and this is where my garlic's growing, and I harvested the hardneck about a week or so ago, and they were absolutely fine. There's no wireworm damage on those whatsoever. So yeah, I'll harvest up these softnecks soon. I've just started to get a few spots of rust on them, but they're not too bad yet, so hopefully they're still going to have time to fatten up a bit before I dig them up in a few weeks' time. Leave them as long as possible really, but if that rust kicks in, I'll be getting them up. But it's a good thing to know that beans and mustard, if you sow those, then plant your potatoes the following year where you sowed those, and hopefully that will help with the wireworms in the soil. The mustard stops the eggs from hatching out so early, and also speeds up their life cycle from a few years to a few months. And the beans, I think it just deters them. But yeah, I've had to dig up my onions as well today, all of them, every single one. All of them had allium leaf miner. And that's the bag of potatoes with the wireworms in. Any tube is what I found with wireworms in there, and the onions. But I'm going to have to pretty much dig up all these as well, because these have all got allium leaf miner as well by the looks of it. And yeah, it's a shame really. I've not really got any plants yet to put in here at the moment, so the beds are going to be bare for a little bit. But I'm just basically going to sow beans everywhere, I think. Also, not allium leaf miner, sorry, wireworm does affect corn as well, apparently. I've got one corn here what's gone down overnight. Oh yeah, and also one of my squash plants died overnight somehow. I'll give it a bit of a water just to revive it, but I think that's gone, to be honest. The other two are looking okay. And the two pumpkins I put in here yesterday are okay. But yeah, apart from I had to tread through here where the mole had been. But oh, there's a ladybird. Right, I'm going to go anyway now. Take this diseased plant material and stick it in the bin. I'll go and have a coffee. And yeah, if anyone else is dealing with wireworm, it might be wise to put some potatoes in your beds on a stick so you know where they are, leave them for a week, dig them up, and see how bad your infestation is. You can buy some nematodes to water on. It's quite expensive though, about £30 I think. But we'll try and deal with it naturally with plants and baked potatoes for the time being.